Guns are extremely important, and I think everyone should have the right to own and bear guns and knives too. Maybe not swords. I think it would be just overstretching it. But Second Amendment, it's too important. Honestly, gun ownership, Second Amendment, gun rights in general are the real safety net of the people against tyranny. And I don't understand how so many people just don't get it. Because I've been noticing recently in the United States, there's like too many groups now that are just running around and complaining that, oh my God, we don't feel safe. Our schools are not safe. There's too many people, crazy people with guns. We need to limit or even ban guns, which is just a stupid, absolutely imbecilic idea in and of itself. It's just the United States, American people precisely have the freedom, or what's left of it, you might say, because they have the fucking guns. That's just the truth. And imagine if American people didn't own guns. It would be like the post-Soviet hemisphere, really, because I live in a post-Soviet country. We are not allowed to have guns. Okay? In fact, we are not even allowed to carry knives with us, even just like small knives. You can have like a kitchen knife with you, yeah, theoretically, but then if a cop finds it, you still might have some problems. He will be asking you like questions. Why are you carrying this knife and all that? You can't really do that openly, even if it's like a small, like a really tiny knife that's like a 9 millimeters. The blade is 9 millimeters long at max. That is like the limit that's allowed. But even if it's shorter than 9 millimeters, you might still be questioned about why you have that. Maybe you are like a criminal or something. So literally, even like to get a shocker, you need to have like a license, and it's just pretty much pepper spray. I think is the only thing that is sort of allowed. But even then, there's still some norms here pertaining to how it should be used and kept and carried and all of that. But in the United States, that's just not the case, and that is precisely why people are easily going on protests, and no one's like stopping them. It's just because how? Because I mean, if you try to stop and actually you start beating people up, uh, most people have guns back in their homes, so it only takes like I don't know, like 30 minutes for them to go back home and come out with a freaking gun, right? So it's and in the post-Soviet countries, just like in the majority of countries in the world, you can't protest. If you people like gather up to protest, they have like a meeting outside. The cops immediately will come, apprehend the most sort of active uh, people there, and no one can do nothing. And the cops, the police, they know that these motherfuckers can't do shit. Basically, it's just, and that's the reason why they feel so safe and they feel so comfortable just coming in and basically uh, violating your constitutional rights. Because a lot of countries, they have freedom of gatherings and meetings and protests in the constitutions, but when it comes to practice, of course, you're not gonna have it because the ruling elites, they're scared that any such gathering may turn into an attempt of a coup d'état, a revolution. So they're scared of that. That's why we have no gun rights basically, and that's why protests get squashed immediately. But if we had gun rights, do you think, in all honesty, they would be just the police would be just coming in and just apprehending people as easily as today? I don't freaking think so. It just wouldn't happen because the government, the ruling class, the ruling elite, they would know that as many people as there are in the country with guns, they will outnumber any police, any military, anyone. So it's a it's a game that is going to be lost by the rulers, basically. So they know that. That's precisely why uh, they don't allow guns, so that they would feel secure about their own position, basically. But in the United States, that's why even Trump and his administration, they are cautious because they know they're sitting on our basically they're sitting on an explosive that can go off at any minute. Because and that's why they are so cautious when they, when they speak about the people. uh, Even in their words, you can like feel, you can sense that sort of caution, that fear. Okay. Yeah, you may say Trump is kind of goes beyond, but that's because he is supported by, in my opinion, by those who have more guns. And it's also a part of his personality. He still doesn't really go beyond that. And he still didn't cross the line. He's sort of like on the border, when with the way they sort of uh, try to control like people protesting and all that. They are not crossing the line yet. Okay, because like if you want to see how lines are crossed, you gotta have to look at the so-called third world countries, really, where people are literally like beaten up, have like their faces blasted with batons. Basically, it's people get like bloodied. So yeah, I mean, from this viewpoint, guns are just too important. I don't understand those people who are fighting against guns, and they also like keep justifying it like with, yeah, but there's mass shooters and all this. Yeah, they come to schools, they start shooting. So what? So so what? It doesn't even happen every day. If this shit happened every single day, I might start thinking about it, but it doesn't happen even every other day. In fact, I think it doesn't even happen once a week. So what's the fucking panicking about? Just chill the fuck down. You live in the greatest country in the United States. You lucky people, and you should be actually grateful that you have the gun rights. Because if you live, it's precisely the gun rights that are allowing you to go on your stupid, silly fucking protests against guns too, by the way. As ironic as it is, because if you didn't have gun rights, if you didn't have the Second Amendment, you wouldn't be scared to even get out of your house. Your tone would be so deep in your asshole, you wouldn't do shit. So these people are fucking retarded if they think that, we will be so safe when we just limit gun rights to almost non-existence. It's just that they also like bringing up this false. No, like they like to talk about how guns are, well, how they cause deaths and casualties and all that. As far as I know, car accidents cause way more death and casualties. So it doesn't really change anything, right? We're not trying to ban cars here. Why not then? Why aren't we all walking, by the way, and jogging? And by the way, I wouldn't even mind that. But no one's protesting that. Maybe that's because their fat asses don't want to be walking. That's a life and death issue for them, specifically that. But they're so scared of guns because they're so fat, they're so big, very very easy targets. You can be like half blind. You will still, and if you shoot at them, you still, the bullet will still get through. Is because that's just, I don't know. I'm trying to like make up some rationalization, some rational explanations for why would you, how can you be so pathetically retarded? Like, oh, guns are the problem. No, they're not. Switzerland has guns. I think they probably have even more guns than the United States. No one's shooting anyone. Maybe something else is a problem. Maybe it's just the culture. Have you ever thought of that? Maybe it's the culture. And and by the way, another big uh, argument for guns is the United Kingdom, where I actually, by the way, did my master's back in 2011, 2010. These people don't have guns. And that is precisely the reason why there's even more people are getting arrested for some stupid Facebook posts. Way more people than in Kazakhstan, where I live, in any post-Soviet country. I think the United Kingdom has actually beat Russia at this point. Russia, a totalitarian state, especially like at this moment. Do you think this would be the case in the United Kingdom if the Brits had guns just like they are blood-born brothers across the pond? Do you think that would be the case? I fucking doubt it. As rock and roller as the Brits sort of tend to be, they don't have the guns. That's why they get so easily apprehended. That's why the cops, the police, the government feels so comfortable just infringing and violating your rights. And just recently in Russia, they have literally, if you probably haven't heard what happened in Russia, they have literally eliminated, they have confiscated and then killed off cows, and I think sheep as well, across so many, like thousands of farms, like small farms in Russia. There were people who had hundreds of their cows and pigs and sheep killed off right just in front of them. Why? Because there was no reason for that. The government did that. They had an excuse, like it was there's like an epidemic or something, but turns out there is no epidemic. It's just that some huge agro holding, like a huge food production company, or however you call it. Well, basically, it's because some huge, like really huge, oligarchy level farm company is just wants to compete with nobody. But basically, they eliminated their competition by destroying small farmers in Russia. And guess what? The Russians didn't go on any protest because they're not allowed to. Even if you try, you will be beat up, probably even raped in a police station, because it's a very traditional thing, right? In the post-Soviet countries, where you get butt raped with a baton in post-Soviet countries, and people even make jokes about it, by the way. And in Russia, no one actually protested, and no one did anything because people don't really own guns. Some people who hunt, they might have like rifles, but it's nothing against like SWAT teams come in with AK-47s, like automatic weapons. What are you gonna do against them? Pretty much nothing. And it's precisely because no one, and even the rifles, there's just not enough of them anyway. So it's not a lot of people actually own them. So people did nothing pretty much, and they just lost all of their stock. But basically, they just all of their farm stock. They lost their sustenance basically. Now they can now the government, of course, that's just my forecasting. Now the government is going to give them an option of making the livelihood in another way. How about you guys join the war in the Ukraine, and we will be paying you some good money since you've lost all of your farm stock. I think it's a good idea. Don't you need some money because you've lost all your sustenance now? That is how the government is going to play it off, apparently. And the Russians seem to be fine with that. Because really, I mean, there's not much to do anyway. So it's just, I mean, these people are like lost, really. It's no one will do nothing. But comparing this to the United States, I finished school in Oklahoma back in the days, and I lived there. And honestly, never in my life, in any universe, would I imagine that something similar would happen in Oklahoma, for example, in Texas. This is the government just comes in and just says, you know what? I think we have an epidemic. I got no proof, but give us all your animals. We're just gonna kill them off. Well, we don't know how you're gonna sustain yourself. We know that was your only source of income, but it's really not not of concern to us. So that's your problem. So we're just gonna do what we gotta do, and I don't think they would get away with that as easily as in Russia. So it's why? Yeah, you have to ask yourself why. Is it because there's some red or blue-haired chicks with pierced noses that are protesting? No, it's because people own guns and they can really shoot you right in your fucking head. it's it's as easy as it is, and no amount of MMA can help you. Guns can, because the police they're not gonna go and actually swing at you. They're not gonna do the fucking MMA. They're not gonna freaking do jujitsu. Like no, they will just shoot you, and that's all, or shock you, or electrocute or whatever. It just they will beat you up maybe, but they're not gonna actually fight you. They have the option of shooting you. So it's like your MMA, all of that shit is not gonna help you. And by the way, also your knives are not gonna help you really, because the government has guns. Like, what are you gonna do? It means don't bring knives to gunfights, as the proverb goes, right? So it's we all need guns, okay? Apart from guns being like really sexy, we actually need them for their functionality and for the freedoms. These people don't understand it. They want to again trade off the freedoms for this freaking illusion of safety, as George Carlin put it rightfully. This is just pathetically retarded. It's so stupid. We all should have guns. Okay, maybe we should probably have like some limitations as to carrying guns. Just have a pistol with you, a Glock, a revolver, some like in your holster. I think that should be fine. Maybe don't carry around an AK and an MR16 or AK-47. Just don't bring in like big guns to public places. Okay, I get it. You still can have them at home. In case a revolution starts, you still have them. But you can still have pistols with you. So it's yeah. And it's still something. It's still a huge freaking argument as long as it's a gun. You can always go run back to the house, to the basement, to the freaking safe, and just get your big gun out and join the revolution at any time. So yeah, I mean, there should be some like balance. Maybe don't walk around with big guns. Okay, I get it. But like limiting them, well, because it's oh my god, because this lobbyists, this NRA, they are lobbying. Fuck you. Like, they are lobbying. Everyone's, so what? Like cars, outdoor, like car production. So what? Like car producers, they are lobbying us driving cars. So what the fuck? That's why people, so many people die every year. Like in the, like hundreds of thousands people probably. In my country, it's like 20,000 something people get severely crippled or die every year in car accidents. So should we ban the fucking cars? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, people are stupid. And by the way, there's also another reason why guns should be everywhere is because people just become way more cultured. If you haven't noticed, people actually get cultured because no one wants to mess around because everyone's scared of everyone's kind of like that. Even if you're like a huge MMA fighter and the other guy is like a skinny disabled kid, if he has a gun just like you, I mean, you are truly equal in this respect. You won't have an opportunity really to be bullying that kid around. So it's like it really equates everyone. So we should all have the green light for guns everywhere globally. Yeah, that's it, guys. And subscribe to this channel, and I see you in the next videos.